Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? I'm recording this on Moon Day, January 20th, and the sun is in Aquarius, and the moon is in Libra. And we have this nice trine of the sun and the moon today. And there's a couple things I wanted to mention that feels pretty heavy, but in a good way. I mean, I guess it depends on how you're experiencing it in your world. But we just had the Venus-Saturn conjunction in Pisces at 16 degrees. And it's a pretty, I don't know, like, it happened, last time it happened, it was March, I think it was 21st, 22nd of 2024, also in Pisces at 12 degrees, 12, 13 degrees. This one is at 16 degrees. And it's kind of giving, like, this seriousness to relationships. And I consider it like rules of engagement. And I know there's a movie out called Rules of Engagement, and you can kind of relate it to that. That one is more connected to war and military and, certain types of contracts, I guess, connected to how to conduct yourself in certain situations. And there is a connection. The Saturn Venus conjunction can feel like either like emotional restriction or emotional discipline. Venus is connected to what we attract, what we desire, love, beauty, art, relationships. It's also the ruler of Taurus and Libra. So Taurus is an earth sign, so it's the feminine version of Venus. And it's about, the finer things in life, what you value, your self-worth, your possessions, beauty, art, of course, food as well. And then Libra is the masculine side of Venus, and it's more to do with relationships and how to keep the relationships amicable. And with Saturn there, Saturn is all about discipline, rules, restrictions, like a seriousness. It's connected to sustainability, like elders as well, seeing things for the long haul. And Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So traditions, Saturn can be connected to, like, it's very traditional, and so there's a sense of, I don't know, is demurity a word? Like being very mindful, very demure, just not getting crazy. So there's like a emotional restriction with this combination. And this is meant to allow us to kind of grow and mature so that we can sustain these relationships that are more aligned with us spiritually and that will carry us further into the future and, like, really bring us and attract those experiences and opportunities that will help us not only align but also build those relationships that will eventually become opportunities to share your healing gifts. Pisces is all about, forgiveness and healing, and, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about health and well-being. And with the nodes now in Pisces and Virgo, we're going to be learning how to heal ourselves physically and spiritually. And so with the North Node in Pisces and Venus and Saturn in Pisces, as well as soon to be, I think it's Mercury will be in Pisces in about a month or so. But this emphasis on Pisces is asking us to really become a lot more spiritually and emotionally disciplined and mature, so we don't kind of, like, not waste, but, like, we want to make sure that the relationships that we are getting into are going to be there for the long haul. And so there is an emotional restriction. There's a feeling of emotional restriction to this conjunction, but also at the same time, there can be a disciplined approach to the relationships that you're getting into. So there's new opportunities that may be crossing your path that you have to kind of determine and discern how to prioritize your responsibilities and your dedication to these relationships. And these relationships may feel a little scary, like, not in a bad way, but like you're reaching this level of maturity and just growing. It's like a growing pain. This is like a very, very growing pains kind of transit aspect. And anything to do with Saturn, there's going to be some sort of like growing up to do. And so these new relationships, these communities that you're joining or becoming a part of or being invited to, can feel a little scary in that sense where, you've never been around such, amazing people. Like, this caliber is so, like, it feels like it's so out of your element, but you wouldn't be presented with this opportunity if you weren't ready. So it's really asking you, universe is really asking you to step up and commit, and it requires a lot of, sussing out what is needed. It requires discernment and really prioritizing your time and your energy as to what you give your attention to. And it is definitely easier said than done, especially with all the things that are happening in the world that, just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, just like taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, eating the right amount of food or the right types of food, keeping your immune system up. That's another thing. Like, so many people are catching some sort of cold or virus right now, and that's gonna, inhibit or impede on making any moves. So trying to keep your immune system up, making sure you're not taking in anything that's going to block the nutrients that want to get to your body so that you can keep up your immune system. So there's a lot at play, and things are moving so fast right now. What is it now? Almost, it's not even the end of January, but within 2 months, there's going to be so many shifts. Like, Uranus is going to go direct at the end of January. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It's now Aquarius season, so happy solar return to the Aquarians. Amazing, innovative, genius. Can be emotionally detached, but that's just, it's a facade. Like, I'm a Aquarius moon, so it doesn't mean that Aquarius placements do not have emotions. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and with Uranus going direct at the end of the month, that's going to really loosen up what needs to be dismantled. Uranus has been retrograde since, I think, July of last year. And so we've had this internal kind of like breaking down of what no longer serves us. And Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, so this can be connected to our tangible belongings, our possessions. So we can kind of anticipate our possessions being removed from us. And we're starting to realize that these material things that we've been holding on to for so long actually don't resonate. I just found out recently that fabric has a frequency. Each type of fabric holds a frequency. And of course the synthetic fibers have a lower frequency, like polyester, rayon. One thing I was surprised about was silk, because even though it is a natural fiber, the way it's made from silkworms, and the silkworms end up dying in the process of making silk. So you have the energy of these dead silkworms in the fabric. So I've like gotten rid of so many clothes, and it's it can be difficult to let go, knowing like what you've, I guess, like invested, or like you held so much, you held these pieces of clothing in such high esteem because it was made of this particular sought after fabric. But lo and behold, the frequency of these fabrics are not great, and turns out linen and cotton and wool have the highest frequency, but linen and wool are not to be worn together because then they cancel each other out. And linen is actually the same material that is used in hospitals because it's got healing properties, healing effects. And if you think of the bandages that they wrap you up in, those are made of linen. So those type of decisions, we're starting to realize how much of the things that we possess are not in our benefit. So that's the thing with the future, is with Uranus going direct, it's going to move into Gemini, and Gemini is able to see the other side of the coin. Like, Gemini is the type to really consider what is on the other end of the spectrum. So with Uranus, the planet of unexpected events, sudden insight, and just, you know, it releases stagnation. And so those ideas and technologies, Uranus is connected to technology, these concepts will be far-reaching with Uranus and Gemini, and it's going to be in a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. So with Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, and Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius, Uranus is going to rule Pluto. So there's going to be this fast-moving, far-out flow of mental energy going between Gemini and Aquarius, and it's going to be this like quantum leap of ideas and technology. So, I mean, just to say that, you know, there's a lot of things moving, shaking into place and out of place, and this includes the Venus and Saturn conjunction, where we are taking responsibilities of the relationships that we want to pursue and have been connected to, have been invited to connect with, to pursue these amazing healing concepts that will change the world, that will, you know, impact the collective, hopefully in a positive way. And so it's a very big step up, you know, like it's a steep step, these are steep steps that we're making. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking some rest. You know, there's going to be periods where the energy is, you know, so overwhelming, and it could be, you know, maybe these viruses or spells of colds are meant for us to take a rest. Like, we're not to just take a rest, but maybe like the projects or the pursuits that we are involved with at the moment may or may not be in alignment with our soul's purpose. And so that could be universe's way of saying, you know, this isn't the one. And these are moments where we have to trust what is playing out and take it as, you know, a message. And we can tell the difference by this point. I mean, hopefully we can tell the difference between how we, you know, between how we feel when we are aligned and in contact with a concept or an idea or an opportunity that resonates with us, where we know that, like, down the line this could turn into something amazing, where it actually feels good to be a part of this organization or this team or this, you know, project, versus, you know, trying to do the same old thing, you know, being attached to the past paradigms of the same old, you know, 9 to 5 profit driven, like working for profit driven companies, and knowing in our heart that, like, there's no connection to the objectives of these entities. And so we have to, like, pay attention to what our heart is doing, and we want to have this feeling of, you know, altruism, and knowing that, you know, our heart can be at rest when we are putting energy into these organizations and projects. You know, it's not stressful. It's not something that you know, where we go to bed and we dread waking up because we have to, like, do that same old song and dance. So just want to pay attention to those kind of opportunities. And that's the thing with Saturn and Venus and Saturn, is like the discernment that we are taking to cultivate these relationships that we want to keep, that we want to pursue. And, you know, like, kindly saying no to the relationships that don't serve us and that do not resonate with us. And there's no reason to feel bad for saying, you know, declining offers. You know, don't be attached to the money aspect of it, because that will be the distraction. You know, like, we've been programmed to think that the money, the salary is the goal, but actually it is the distraction. It's actually the passion that you put into the work that you do that is of more value, like the creativity that you put out that is also cultivated at the same time, so that it is a, you know, give and take, like a win-win situation where you're sharpening your creative skills and you're able to express yourself creatively, and those creative works of art or music or writing is also celebrated and shared, and you're able to, you know, have this sense of pride and joy when you create and put energy into these projects. So yeah, I just wanted to mention those couple things because I feel like it's been coming up a lot around me, and even, you know, like not just work but relationships too, where, you know, we're worried about, you know, being single forever. You know, like right now is not the best time to really pursue or chase relationships. We want to be in our creative zone and build that really strong magnet to attract the most aligned partner. You know, right now it's not, with Mars retrograde in Cancer, it's not the most ideal time to connect with someone and like commit, really, because even if it's a project that you want to launch or a relationship that you want to solidify, Mars retrograde in Cancer is not the best energy to start that relationship off with. Mars is the type of energy that wants to pursue and like and express in impulsive ways. And in the sign of Cancer, it's more internal, it's more emotional, and with it retrograde, it is like holding back. It's like this sort of inward, kind of insecure, like uncertain kind of feeling with Mars retrograde. There's like this inward uncertainty, like emotional uncertainty about, you know, your purpose or your goal. Like Mars is the ruler of Aries, which is all about ambitions and goals and winning, achievement. And there's also Capricorn as well, but Capricorn, Mercury in Capricorn and Mars in Cancer, they are opposing each other. I think their exact opposition is going to be in a few weeks, January 23rd. But this is also supported by a trine to Uranus. And so Mercury will be in a trine to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so there's this already like internal shift of what needs to change, and like insights also of where we want to direct our energy and our passions and our emotions. But yeah, besides that, yeah, relationships are not, you know, are going to be challenging to pursue at the moment. So it's just, you know, best to use that energy toward creative projects, like things that you used to do when you were a kid, just to like pass time, or things that you just really enjoyed, whether it's drawing, painting, dancing, you know, could be anything, like basket weaving, or studying astrology, like getting into, you know, really learning what's around you, the symbolism of the stars. I mean, I highly recommend learning about how to read your chart, because it is so validating. It relieves so much stress and anxiety, just having that awareness of where you are in the world and how you're placed in aspect to people around you, your loved ones, partners, or, you know, family members. I mean, it can, you know, it's a very deep rabbit hole. We can go in so many different directions with astrology, so you're never bored with astrology. But yeah, just a little mention of these energies that are at play that could feel challenging at the moment, but, you know, it's all for our greater good and betterment. And like, these are steep steps, like I said, that we are climbing, and as time goes on, especially when we get to June and July, things are going to be moving a lot faster. So it's a good idea not to get distracted by propaganda, you know, the things like the mindless things that is being pushed in our face. The community is a really important, I guess, priority to keep in mind. Like the old 9 to 5, I know it's, you know, difficult to wrap your head around, especially when like you're receiving bills, credit card bills, mortgage, blah blah blah. Like that all is such a trap, and like they have kind of built the system in a way that keeps us from pursuing our creative joys. And so there's that balance that we have to, as humans, we have to learn how to come into balance with. Like, we can be in, in the clouds and in our creative space, but we also have to learn how to be grounded and like function in this matrix of the world where we are, we're all connected and on so many different levels. And so that's the challenge that humans have, is like integrating the earthly plane with the ethereal or astral plane. And so this soul is, coming back online. So we've lost contact with our soul, many of us, and because of the distractions of materialism and capitalism and whatnot. But that is all shifting, and so it just takes this, adjustment period to get used to. But yeah, with the awareness of astrology and paying attention to the signs, divination signs, like, it's not, just a hoax, or it's not just, we had a friend who just kind of dismissed the significance of angel numbers. And I mean, this was back in 2021 or 2022, but now, lo and behold, yeah, I'm not crazy, because now that person is, now that it's become mainstream, that person is, like soaking it all up, which is fine. Like, everybody has their own timeline of when they become more accepting of these things. So no shame, but yeah, just stay open to divine signs and messages and dreams. Like, there's definitely messages and dreams at 717 at the moment. 7 and 1 have a spiritual significance. Like, 7 is spirituality and 1 is leadership. So that's one of my favorite numbers. But yeah, I guess I'm just rambling now. But hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that helps. And definitely hit me up if you're curious about how these aspects and these transits are affecting your chart. There's so much at play, so many shifts going on, so it's good to have like a heads up. It's like a weather report. This is just, like a planetary, cosmic, astro weather report, so that you know what's coming down the line, because everything moves in cycles, and nothing is there to punish you, or like you're not better than another. Nobody else is better than you. Everybody has their own experience, and we're all playing our role in this huge cosmic theater. So yeah, stay centered, stay grounded, and stay hydrated. And yeah, sign up for my newsletter if you are interested in receiving these kind of updates. I do 2 kind of like general big transit type of newsletters, like what signs the planets are in, and then like the major transits of the month, like 2 of those, and then like 1 for the new moon, a newsletter for the newsletter for the new moon, and then a newsletter for the full moon. So 4 altogether now. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and thanks for hanging with me, and I hope to see you on the next one. All right, ciao.